Okay, so we all think we know the story of Icarus, right? The boy with the wings made of wax, the incredible escape, and of course the tragic fall. It's kind of become this straightforward warning against getting too ambitious. But what if that simplicity is actually hiding something deeper, something way more complex? Let's really unpack the two very different sides of the Icarus myth. I mean, you've heard this a million times. Don't fly too close to the sun. It's become this universal shorthand for, aim high, but not too high. It's a lesson that's been hammered into our culture about the dangers of ambition. And it all boils down to one very powerful, very human flaw. And that flaw? It's hubris. And we're not just talking about being a little prideful. Hubris is that excessive pride, that intoxication with your own power that makes you feel like you're invincible. It's that moment when the absolute thrill of what you're doing completely clouds your judgment. For Icarus, this was the exact moment he stopped flying to escape and just started flying for the sheer joy of feeling like a god. Now, here's the part of the story that often gets left out. The warning from his father, Daedalus, wasn't only about flying too high. He actually gave two commands. Flying too low was just as dangerous. The dampness from the sea would weigh down the wings, and he'd fail because of complacency, because of constraint. And of course, flying too high meant the sun's heat would melt the wax, leading to destruction through overreach. The real lesson here wasn't don't be ambitious. It was about finding that perfect balance, what's called the middle way. So, if we look at the traditional story, the key takeaway is this. Icarus's fall is a direct result of him abandoning that balance. His youthful, impulsive need for that exhilarating feeling made him just completely ignore his father's wisdom. It's a really powerful metaphor, right? That ambition without any moderation, without respecting the natural boundaries, isn't just risky, it's basically a form of self-destruction. This is the Icarus we all know and the lesson we've all been taught. Okay, but what if we've only been looking at half the picture? What if his spectacular fall wasn't just a personal failure? What if it was something else entirely? Let's take a look at a second and very, very different way to read this myth. To get this new perspective, I want you to imagine the world before Icarus took flight. But don't think of it as a prison. Instead, picture it as a stagnant, parched earth. It's in a state of arrested development. Sure, everything is safe, it's predictable, it's stable, but it's also totally dry and lifeless. Nothing new can possibly grow here. It's a world just desperate for a change. Now into this stagnant world, Icarus isn't just a boy anymore. He's an event. His flight isn't an act of hubris. Think of it like a lightning strike. It's brief, it's luminous, and it is absolutely destructive. It shatters that fragile stability. And if you're on the ground, all you're going to see is terror and loss. But this is where it gets interesting, because that's not the whole story. What's happening beneath the surface? Well, this same fire from that lightning strike is what cracks open the hardened husks of seeds that have been dormant for years. The storm that brings all that destruction, it also brings the rain. All of a sudden, that destructive act becomes generative. New growth is now possible precisely because that old, stable world was shattered. This reframes everything. Icarus's death is no longer some meaningless failure born from pride. No, it's a structurally necessary sacrifice. He is the lightning bolt. He has to be consumed for the forest to be reborn. So his excess, his ambition, while fatal to him, is actually vital for the future. It's what breaks that static, lifeless balance and creates the conditions for real transformation. So what this does is it introduces this fascinating new tension into the myth. It's not just a simple story of safe versus reckless anymore. Now it's a story about preservation versus becoming. See, the middle way, that balance, is all about sustaining the life that already exists. But this new perspective suggests that sometimes a violent rupture is the only thing that allows new life to emerge. So let's just lay it all out. You've got two completely different views. From the first perspective, the middle way, Icarus is a cautionary tale about hubris. And the lesson is pretty clear. Ambition needs moderation. But from the second perspective, the rupture, he represents this catalytic disruptive event. And the lesson there? Rupture is what allows new life to emerge. Two totally different meanings, both pulled from the exact same story. And that leaves us with a pretty provocative question to chew on. The myth of Icarus, it turns out, isn't just about a boy who flew too high. It's asking us something really fundamental about how we think about progress and stability. Is balance something that's meant to be maintained forever at all costs? Or are there moments when it is actually meant to be broken for the sake of whatever comes next?